Hello, my friends. How are you? I hope you're doing very, very well. My name is Mariah. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, welcome. If you have, super warm welcome back to you. And today I just wanted to share some practical tips on how you can connect with the goddess, because that connection to the goddess has been so pivotal in my life, and it's what I share with my clients and really how I show up online a lot, that I thought it would be helpful to kind of put it into one video, some really practical everyday tips that you can do that just invoke the goddess into your life more and more. And, the number one thing to know is that she's in our life in every single moment. She pervades every single moment. She is in every moment. The pregnancy of each molecule is full of the goddess. So you don't have to look far to find her. And you can honor her and venerate her, and you can use the word worship if you want. I don't really like that word, but you can go with that if that's what you want to call it. But I really like the word venerate and honor and recognize and remember the goddess as we should, as humans should, because the original religions were all goddess-based religions, and then over the past couple thousand years, they got hijacked, and we've had to deal with these really male-centric religions that instigate violence and promote hatred of women, and just before anybody says anything, though I don't even call it a religion, but how I venerate the goddess does not put down men in any way. There is not, just because the Abrahamic religions tend to put down women, especially Islamic sects, they think you have to hide women because, in my opinion, because the woman's body is too powerful for the men. Now, just because that's the case in some Abrahamic religions doesn't mean if you put the focus on the woman in a religion that that man is going to be in that same position. It's just not true at all. In my perspective and what I promote with people is, of course, men are important. I love men. I am in a wonderful relationship with my fiance who is a man. I really value my relationship with my brother, with my father, with... Do I have that many male friends? I've got some male friends in my life for sure, but the men that I really spend a lot of time with obviously is my fiance, and then my brother and my father. I really appreciate them in my life, and at no point do I think that they need to be living in hiding or shielding their body or whatever, like some religions think that women have to do. And the whole point of having a goddess-based religion or a goddess-based lifestyle is that also uplifts men at the same time, because men are very important. We need men to procreate, and if you want to get really technical, I don't think we actually do. Women can clone without men, but again, that's a clone. That's not creating an entirely new life. But men are important for various reasons. Women are more of the right brain, more of the creative, more of the flow, whereas a man provides the structure, is more of the left brain, is more grounded. That's reflected in my current relationship. I need my fiance to keep me tethered to the freaking ground sometimes, otherwise I'll just fly away. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, because some people think when I talk about the goddess, then that means that I'm taking that same perspective and I want to, get rid of all men. It's just not true. We've just been poisoned by the past couple thousand years into thinking that there needs to be a male savior, that your creator is only male, which is not true. You have male and female that created the human genome. And that whole male-centric religion was placed into mainstream thought to distract you from the true story. They just took the story of the goddess and changed it into a male and just took away all important meaning of that story. And if you don't know the story that I'm talking about, I will definitely link below where I talk about it, because it is a long story. I don't really want to get into it in this video because I definitely have videos about it. But essentially, it is the Gnostic creation story of the goddess Sophia, who made the human genome with her male counterpart, but for reasons that I've explained in other videos, she fell on her own to eventually become our planet Earth. And, you know, she's not alone, as in her male counterpart didn't, you know, leave her to do nothing, but she fell on her own, and that is why our Earth is female. That is why the first residents of our planet are female. That is why men came here from Orion, and that in and of itself is a juicy, lovely romantic story that men were so compelled by their other half that they came to Earth to hunt as hunter shamans. And that again is not exactly for this video, but let's get into some practical ways that you can venerate the goddess at home in your everyday life. So the first thing that you can do, that I have in nearly all of my videos now, is make an altar. You don't have to go crazy. I just like to put some of my most beautiful things into one spot. And obviously I have the beautiful green Tara behind me, who is, you know, offering her sparkling support in all of my videos. And I have things that I find beautiful on my altar. I have more than one altar. This is the altar that I show publicly, but obviously, you know, it's a very private thing to have an altar. And so you can have many of them. You can have one in your bedroom that is just for you, or just for you and your partner, and then one, you know, out and about where you have guests over and they see that one but they don't see the other one. Or you can put them all out and everybody sees everything. Who cares? I don't, but I just have more than one. I like to have little altars all over my home because I think it's very beautiful. And really, that is the MO of the goddess, is beauty. So anytime that you can offer her beauty in the form of putting your most beautiful things in a certain spot and just having this spot be dedicated to the goddess, you know, roses are wonderful. I have these like dried rose petals. I have some of my favorite crystals here. I've got amethyst, rose quartz, citrine. I have my Mary Magdalene oil that I made. So anything that you do with intention of honoring the goddess is a great offering for her. She really does not want much from you. She doesn't want you to, you know, give her all these lavish gifts and whatever, what have you, because that's just not, you know, what, like, she's just not a physical being like that. Like, she's not exactly human, where, you know, if you were to buy her like a purse, she's gonna go out and use it. Like, I mean, you could buy her a purse and then put it on your altar and say, you know, this is dedicated to you, but it's more meaningful to create something beautiful for her and dedicate it to her. You can write a beautiful poem to her. That I've actually been researching this lately because I had a dream with a priestess of Inanna. I don't think it was Inanna. I had in my head that it was a priestess of Inanna who was, for lack of a better term, initiating me or attuning me to some sort of frequency that, you know, is honoring Inanna. And so I did some research about the priestesses of Inanna, and the main priestess of her, I forget, I can't really pronounce her name, but it's Enheduanna. Enheduanna is her name. She is actually the first recorded author ever. And her writings were poems to the goddess Inanna. And, you know, something else that people kind of get caught up on that I've talked about before is that they get caught up on the different names of the goddess. And really, I would really just love to drive the point home that she is known as the goddess of 10,000 names. Like, just because you hear a different name like Inanna or Ishtar or Isis or Hathor or even Sophia or Gaia Sophia, all these different names are pointing back to the one goddess that is here as our planet, that is nature, that is supernature, that is the Aeon Sophia. I call her Sophia just because it's Greek wisdom, but you can call her by many names. You can call her Shakti. It's just a matter of honoring that which has given us life, and that she is here in the body of woman, and that every woman, oh, I gotta cat her, is her form. The earth is her form. You know, the form of woman is sacred because she became a part of this planet and a part of this life here alongside the development of women. So that is why I believe that some religions like to hide the form of a woman, because it is that powerful, or why some other religions think that women are dirty when they are at a certain time of the month. It's all these different ways to like break down women and reduce the importance of women in society, because they don't want you to know that it's actually the women who are the most important. It's not, again, like I said, it's not that men aren't important, but you need women to birth men. You need women to populate the planet. You need priestesses to make real balanced kings. And you need women to birth sons. And, you know, it's just, you need women. Of course you need men, but everybody comes through the legs of a woman. So, what else can you do? Something else that you can do is, this is actually mentioned in the Bible. So that's why I wanted to mention this one. As you can see here, I have a really beautiful glass I got from my mom. Oh, rose petal. Of a really nice red wine. I will admit, this is a nice bottle. And I like to leave it out for a little bit as an offering to the goddess. This is an offering specifically to Inanna. And Inanna is known as she is the queen of heaven. She is Sophia. She is Venus. She is Sophia. You know, it's all the same being. But there are different time periods where she had different names and different looks based on the people who were viewing her, because she also adapts to our observation. I'm going to read from Jeremiah 44. And this verse or chapter, whatever you want to call it, is like really calling out women and their practices. Then all the men who knew that their wives were burning incense to other gods, along with all the women who were present, said to Jeremiah, "We will not listen to the message you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord. We will certainly do everything we said we would. We would burn incense to the Queen of Heaven," would have been Inanna or Ishtar at this time, is what they called her, "and will pour out drink offerings to her, just as we and our ancestors, our kings and our officials did in the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem. At that time, we had plenty of food, and we were well off and suffered no harm. But ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine." The women added, "When we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings to her, did not our husbands know that we were making cakes impressed with her image and pouring out drink offerings to her? We will certainly carry out the vows we made to burn incense and pour out drink offerings to the Queen of Heaven." So when you talk to somebody who is highly devoutly Christian, or, you know, they take the Bible for every single word, they are going to read that and be like, oh, you know, that's the Queen of Heaven is, you know, Babylon, the demon, rar, like she's evil and going against the Lord and blah, blah, blah. But what if you were to read that book with a different perspective, that the Lord is not the creator of all life, and in fact, he wants to rival the Queen of Heaven because he's the bastard son of the Queen of Heaven. You know, people don't question the Bible enough. They just take it all at face value. And it's like, well, it's one, it's been through many translations. Two, it's essentially a book that worships an ancient Hebrew tribal god, not the God of everything. And, you know, there are things in there that really, you know, go against women. Why, if your God is so amazing and powerful, why can't people venerate the mother of God, the Queen of Heaven? You know, that's just not good, because they know, like the writers of this Bible or whoever is pushing the narrative in the Bible, they know that if more people venerate the goddess, the Queen of Heaven, and give her drink offerings and light incense in her name and sing her poetry and sing her hymns and honor her and venerate her and make cakes of her body as a way to venerate her even further, then they know that success will come to them. That's why the verse says, ever since we stopped doing these things, we have known nothing but famine and poverty and death by swords. So what's the correlation there? When you venerate the goddess, when you keep her in your thoughts and you give her some wine, some drink, something to eat, like a little cake, and you burn incense in her name, she then turns your life into the most harmonious and prosperous that it can be. It really doesn't take much. It doesn't take much for her to do that in our lives. All it takes is for us to recognize her and honor her. And it's not like she's going to say, oh, you have to stop doing everything else. It's like, well, you'll probably want to stop doing other things because they're not getting you anywhere. And then you start to honor and venerate the goddess, the Queen of Heaven, Inanna, Ishtar, Sophia, and your life actually starts to pick up and improve. That's where the difference is that you can keep, you know, paying attention to the Bible and spinning your wheels and sticking with the Old Testament God who, you know, probably doesn't really like you. Or you can switch to the team of the goddess, pour her a little drink, maybe write her a little poem, or even just keeping her in your thoughts and thinking, like my number one tip that I tell people all the time because it's so easy is, as you're falling asleep, ask the goddess what she wants you to know, what she wants you to understand, because she is wisdom. She pervades all. She talks to you inside. She is your sight in sleep. She can give you meaningful insights that are meaningful just to you, that will move you forward. And when you do that and you create that relationship and you rely on it, it imbues your own energetic frequency with her, which is harmony, which allows harmony to unfold in more ways than you can even think in your everyday life. And it's what allows synchronicity to happen. You know, sometimes people will ask me and be like, well, you know, what if synchronicity is a bad thing? And I'm like, is somebody giving you an opportunity that like you weren't even in the room to discuss a bad thing? Those are the kinds of things that Sophia of having the presence of the goddess in your life does, is that your frequency shifts, your frequency changes, you are seen better by others, the light in you is just magnified, and you become just more beautiful. And that, like I said, that is the MO of the goddess. Now, the last thing that I'll mention is, if you don't have any time to do these sorts of things, don't know what to do, then appreciate your body for what you have right now. This is the utmost offering that you can give the goddess, the Queen of Heaven, is appreciating the vessel that she designed for you with her male counterpart. Thelete is his name. And if you honor the vessel that you have, if you treat it beautifully, if you speak beautiful things to yourself and, you know, even if maybe you have a problem where you don't want to say I am beautiful, you can just say thank you to the goddess for making me beautiful. Things like that, where it's not only going to shift your frequency into something better, but it's the number one offering that you can give the creator of your life, is to appreciate the design of your freaking body, which has never been replicated, although they tried to make a human that they called Sophia. Funny, isn't it? Right? And it gave her freaking citizenship. Anyways, the number one thing that you can offer the goddess is the use, appreciation, and the veneration of your own body as the masterful artwork of the Aeon Sophia and her counterpart, Thelete. And, you were designed by a male Aeon and a female Aeon. So when you can appreciate what your body is, what you are specifically, how your body looks, how your body moves, and, all the intricacies that comes with that, again, you are giving the goddess the greatest offering that you could possibly give her. You're also expanding your own frequency with more beauty, and therefore you're furthering the frequency of harmony in your field right now. So those are my top tips on how to venerate the goddess, the Queen of Heaven, Inanna, Sophia, Gaia Sophia, right here, right now. And if you take nothing else away from this video, focus on beauty. That is the best thing that you can give her. Beauty within yourself, beauty within your environment, beauty with how you talk to people and how you talk to yourself, beauty with how you feed yourself, beauty with how you talk to your water and ingest that water. All of these things are beautiful. And you can offer her beautiful things. You can offer her poetry, a beautiful altar, beautiful drinks, beautiful cakes like they did in Jeremiah, beautiful incense, and back in biblical times, when they stopped doing these things, when they stopped pouring out drink offerings to the Queen of Heaven, they experienced famine. So if you're going through a hard time right now, or you're feeling like things just aren't moving forward to you, take some time to honor the goddess. Pour her a little drink. You could even give her some water. She's not picky, but wine is a great offering. Any kind of alcohol, anything beautiful, a little bit of tea, coffee, whatever, you can also offer these things to your ancestors, but right now we're talking about the goddess. So we're going to offer her things that are beautiful. You could bake cookies for her and give them to her. And then later when you're eating them, because you're probably going to want to eat them, then just imagine that you are becoming more beautiful with every bite you take, because these were made in beauty for the goddess. So that's all I have for this video. I am recording a special video up next of messages that the goddess has for you in a little pick a pile tarot. So I will, if I don't link it below, just go to my channel. It'll be up eventually. And if you have any questions, let me know. And ciao for now. Much love, much beauty to you.